Secrets of the Pharaohs, inside Egypt's pyramids. Khufu Pyramid, Giza. The Great Pyramids of Giza complex consists of 3 pyramids, each named after the king they contained, Khufu, Khafre and Menkaure. Khufu Pyramid is the largest of the 3, standing at a height of 482 feet, 147 meters. It was constructed between 2550 and 2490 BC, using a whopping 2.3 million stone blocks. Khufu ruled between 2589 and 2566 BC and was the second pharaoh of the 4th dynasty. In 1954, a dismantled wooden ship was discovered buried next to the pyramid, a common inclusion as ancient Egyptians believed these vessels would transport their kings to the afterlife. As the pharaoh was believed to be the earthly representation of Ra, the sun god, they were called solar boats. Until 2021, Khufu's ship was housed in its very own solar boat museum, not far from where it was first discovered, but it has now been moved to the new Grand Egyptian Museum, set to open to the public in early 2023. Another aspect of the Khufu pyramid overlooked during early explorations was a network of subterranean passages, commonly referred to as the pit. In the 18th century, the rubble blocking the descending passageway was cleared away, and a Greek or Roman character was subsequently discovered on one of the tunnel ceilings. It might not look like the most striking discovery, but it seemingly confirmed the Greek historian Herodotus's accounts that the pyramid's interior was accessible during the ancient Roman period. For such a grand pyramid, very few artifacts were discovered, just 3 items, in fact. Commonly referred to as the Dixon relics, named after Wayman Dixon who found them in 1872, the items consist of a granite sphere, a forked copper instrument and a wooden slat. The forked instrument may once have included a bone or wooden handle and was likely used to manipulate rope, while the granite sphere worked as a pounder. The wooden slat, meanwhile, went missing for more than a century, and was only rediscovered in 2020 when a curatorial assistant at the University of Aberdeen stumbled across the item hidden in a cigar tin. Interestingly, the slat was carbon dated to 500 years before the construction of the pyramid, posing new questions about when it was actually built. Mihdam Pyramid, Mihdam. Located roughly 62 miles, 99 kilometers, from Cairo, Mihdam Pyramid was built during the reign of King Sneferu, the first pharaoh of the 4th dynasty, 2613 to 2589 BC. Mihdam Pyramid was Egypt's first straight-sided pyramid, affectionately said by some to resemble a sandcastle, and it's often described as a false pyramid. Numerous construction issues meant it was never completed, so its appearance is noticeably different to other Egyptian pyramids. Entering Mihdam Pyramid takes visitors along a steep passageway, 56 feet, 17 meters, in length, leading down to what would have been the burial chamber. Here, the sarcophagus, a large stone-built coffin usually displayed on ground level, would have held the mummified pharaoh. Except there's nothing there. The burial chamber was never completed, there are no human remains and there's no valley temple, a place where the royal mummy was received, which was a standard inclusion in royal ancient Egyptian burials. The Mihdam geese painting was discovered in a tomb beside the Mihdam Pyramid, and is now on display at the Egyptian Museum of Cairo, also known as the Egyptian Museum of Antiquities. The wall painting features 6 geese, 2 pairs facing away from each other at the center, and 1 goose at each end picking at the grass. Natural pigments included white from limestone, red from hematite and green from malachite, and would have been mixed with egg white emulsifier. Although a faster paint and plaster approach was applied in this part of the painting, you can still admire the exceptional level of detail. It was discovered on the north wall in the tomb chapel of Itet, daughter-in-law of King Sneferu and wife to his son, Nefermat. It would have been part of a larger scene in the tomb. While the original wall painting is on display at the Egyptian Museum of Cairo, there's also a replica on display at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Bent Pyramid, Dahshur. Dahshur is an ancient plateau located some 20 miles, 32 kilometers, south of Cairo. Here you'll find the Bent Pyramid, the second pyramid built by King Sneferu, who added to his straight-sided pyramid at Mihdam with another unusual edifice. A number of construction issues gave the pyramid its odd shape, with the lower half rising at an angle of 54 degrees to 154 feet, 47 meters, before suddenly switching to a 43-degree angle. Following a lengthy closure for structural works, the bent pyramid's interior finally reopened to the public in 2019. One of the more recent discoveries at the Bent Pyramid was made in 2021 by NEXT, an author and tour leader. He revealed in a YouTube video that there was some graffiti dating to the pyramid's rediscovery by the western entrance. It was left by Egyptologist John Shea Paring, who started his exploration of the pyramid in September 1839. NEXT also managed to document a real-life Indiana Jones trap, a stone gate that would have been lowered across the passageway to block the entrance. In 2019, a number of mummies were located in and around the Bent Pyramid. Most of the mummies were in excellent condition, having been preserved inside stone, clay and wooden sarcophagi. The finds also included a number of funerary masks, all of which dated to the late period, 664 to 332 BC, much later than Sneferu's 25th century BC reign. The late period is widely considered one of the last eras of true Egyptian rule before the Persians invaded around 525 BC. Khufu Pyramid, Giza. Khufu Pyramid is the second largest pyramid in the Great Pyramids of Giza complex. King Khufu, 2558 to 2532 BC, built this pyramid next to his father Khufu's, and it is situated 33 feet, 10 meters, higher on the plateau than the Khufu Pyramid, making it look deceptively larger than its taller neighbor. Built roughly between 2520 and 2494 BC, only the top of the pyramid maintains its outer casing of Tura limestone while the rest has worn away, leaving it looking a little like a snow-capped mountain. It's widely believed that the Great Sphinx in front of the pyramid was built for Khufu too. A number of life-sized and bigger-than-life-sized statues discovered at Khufu Pyramid are now on display at the Egyptian Museum of Cairo. One of the most well-known is the Khufu enthroned. This funerary statue was discovered beneath the floor of the Valley Temple and was supposed to provide a place of rest for Khufu's soul. Carved out of a single block of stone, the throne on which Khufu is seated features lion paws, hieroglyphics, a royal cobra and the Egyptian god Horus. The pharaoh is also wearing a lined headdress. All these motifs symbolize his mighty power. Unfortunately, the Khufu pyramid was robbed repeatedly by tomb raiders over the years, dating back to Pharaoh Ramesses II himself, who is said to have lifted sections of the pyramid's limestone casing for his own temple. In the absence of artifacts, although a few were recovered, historians have analyzed the different materials used for the pyramid. Granite cladding was used in the upper descending passageway, and there are gabled limestone beams supporting the burial chamber. Djoser Pyramid, Saqqara. Possibly Egypt's strangest-looking pyramid, the Djoser Pyramid is located in Saqqara, in the ancient capital of Memphis. Djoser, 2650 to 2575 BC, was the first pharaoh to use stone in a pyramid's construction. Before this, royal tombs were simple rectangular monuments made from clay bricks called mastabas. The bizarre, tiered structure is the work of the architect Imhotep, who stacked the mastabas to create this step pyramid, 204 feet, 62 meters, high and the first of its kind. Djoser's sarcophagus was laid deep inside the burial chamber, along with 40,000 stone vessels, bowls and urns of various sizes. They were all inscribed with the names of pharaohs from the 1st and 2nd dynasties, which is curious because Djoser was one of the first kings of the 3rd dynasty. While it's still not completely understood why they were found here, many believe that the earlier pharaohs' own tombs were robbed, and in order to protect their souls Djoser collected their urns and sealed them inside his own tomb. A series of beautiful blue and green tiles were uncovered in the pyramid's galleries and burial chamber. These once lined the walls to imitate the decorative sheets of reeds that would originally have hung in the king's royal palace, while the blue and green colors symbolized rebirth. The ceramic tiles were created in the faience glazing style, and restored sections are on display at the Imhotep Museum in Saqqara and the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Prior to much-needed restoration work in 2006, the Djoser Pyramid was on the verge of collapse. The work included reassembling and restoring the granite sarcophagus, adding paved floors to the cemetery, installing a lighting system and adding a ladder to access the cemetery and well. The walls and ceilings were also strengthened, and more faience tiles were installed. The Djoser Pyramid finally reopened to the public in 2020, allowing visitors to again experience one of Egypt's most important UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
So that was all for today's video. Let us know what you think about it in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our latest uploads. With that said, we will see you next time. Until then, take care.